Welcome to this episode of Conversations at the Table. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know everybody is really busy. Well, some people are really busy and others are just looking for more stuff to clean. I'm done cleaning for today. Anyways, I just want to say thank you for joining us. Today's guest is a lady that I got to meet through work. I was referred to her as to become a client of mine. And the moment she walked into my shop, it was like we were best friends. And so I wanted to ask her on here. Find it very easy to relate to her. We're a lot alike, I think, in some ways. And so, Tannis, welcome to Conversations at the Table.
Hey, Laura, thanks so much for asking me to come on.
I am so glad that you were able to do it. I appreciate that you took time on your day off to come in and sit in with me today. Would you just take a second to share with everybody what it is that you do, Tannis?
Sure, yeah, thanks. So I am a unit clerk at the hospital. I work full-time Monday to Friday, which I don't have to do the shift work anymore, which is great, but it's a tough game right now.
Right. And what department are you in?
I'm in mental health.
Yeah. And on a good day, that would be challenging. I cannot even imagine. Mental health is an issue in our house, and the ramifications of this, I can't even. How are you feeling about that? Like, how are your coworkers dealing, and are you changing things to prep for more of your department's just going to get busier?
Yeah, it is. Even though the hospital we've been asked to drop our census by like how many people we have, just in case things happen. So we have been able to lower our numbers a little bit, but the people that are there are really, really sick. And all we can do is just support them, just be there for them. And in my department, I actually interact with the patients quite a bit. Right. Whereas on other floors as a unit clerk, you really wouldn't a whole lot. And that's, I think, what I love about my job, because I like people.
Yeah.
And everybody's a person. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Like,
right. Yeah. Everybody's got their thing, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has their thing. And I know for myself, mental health has always been, if I don't really look after that, it's game over.
Yeah.
Something that's I'm seeing a lot of right now, like people are talking about that the healthcare, the bigwigs, whoever, our system is not prepared for something like this, right? And I understand that. That's what I'm hearing. Do you think our system is prepared for much? Like the mental health before, did you have issues with being able to help people because of finances through the doctors or the availability of nurses and all that kind of thing? Was it in a situation before that was doable?
I think the biggest part of mental health is the stigma that goes with it.
Right.
And I wish people would drop it, because I always tell people we're all one crisis away. And a crisis to me looks totally different than a crisis to somebody else. So I wish they ditch that stigma and not judge people, because shit happens to everybody, and it doesn't choose who you are, how much you make, or where you live.
Right. Well, I know something that I've been thinking, we are all in this. I get that. And we all some of us have situations that are worse or better, shall we say. I know my situation financially and my home and all that stuff is a very good situation, but my feelings of what's going on are still valid. And I think that when we put a stigma to something, it makes that person feel like what they're going through isn't valid. And everybody is valid, whether you're here or here with it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So I totally agree with you about getting rid of the stigma, because we are all one heartbreak away from being a patient with you. Yeah. So what do you think is happening? Like, do you think what helps that? Like, do conversations, what we're doing today, what makes the stigma a little bit less, Tannis?
I think just being out there and reminding people that it's there.
Yeah.
You can't look at somebody and go, oh.
Yeah.
Right. And because mental health doesn't pick and choose. Yeah. It just happens. Yeah. And lots of it, like some of it's genetics.
Right.
And people can't choose that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How they choose to deal with it on some aspects is a different way. With the whole thing that's going on right now, Interior Health is really amped up all their community services, which is amazing.
Right.
These folks are on the front lines, they're meeting with clients, they're phoning them, they're video chatting, anything. And so that's been amazing to help keep people at a hospital.
Right. Do
Yeah.
you think that's something that they'll be able to see if it's working right now? If that's working right now, do you think that that might be something that they integrate into, like you say, once this is all over?
Yeah.
Is it a possibility that those outreach programs could be continue on after this is all over?
Oh, I think it would be amazing if
Yeah.
it could. I mean, who knows
Right.
where it goes, but it would be amazing if it could.
Right. So I know that most people's stress levels are increased, and I would imagine yours is a little bit too, because you're compassionate and you care about your patients and people who aren't your patients. I'm seeing a lot of, memes and jokes about overeating and over drinking and all that kind of stuff. What are you doing personally to deal with your stress on a healthy level, shall we say?
Well, I'm not sure if you count Cadbury mini eggs as healthy, even though they have eggs in the title.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've ever eaten so many in my whole life.
Right.
Yesterday was Easter, there'll be no more consumption of Cadbury mini eggs in this body. Do you know what? I'm trying to go for a walk at least every second day. With my back injury, it really restricts me a lot from a lot of exercise. And just a short walk, just get out for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I need the sunshine. Like all weekend, I've just been sitting in my backyard, listening to music or podcasts or whatever. And the sunshine makes me feel great because all of our lives have been flipped upside down.
Right.
Even with work, there's one entrance that everybody gets into. You get screened there. We show up in our street clothes, so to speak, change into scrubs, work our day. At the end of our shift, we put our street clothes back on and we go, and we have to come home, wash our clothes, shower before we carry on. So it's added, I'd say, an hour to my daily routine.
Right.
Which obviously I'm willing to sacrifice at this time because it's 100% necessary.
Yeah.
But it's stressful on my family then too, right? Because dinner's later and I'm not available as soon as I come in the house and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that you mentioned dinners later with your family and stuff. Is your husband still working?
He is. They're essential services, but they're on reduced hours. So really the last week's been amazing in the sense that he comes home and gets dinner going, and he's a really good cook.
Right.
Because he'll experiment. He'll like go on Pinterest and all this stuff. And what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I'm like, I don't care as long as you make it. And
I know. I feel the same way. I love cooking, and because I'm the only one home to cook right now, I am soon gonna hate it.
Yeah.
And cleaning toilets. I have a person who does that in my life. Like I have a housekeeper who, of course, no money in, no money out. So she's unfortunately been laid off at this house.
Yeah.
This morning I was like, what can I do to get her back? How can I justify being at home and watching her clean?
Just come clean the bathroom, please.
I'm thinking that. I actually ran into her. That was the other thing I was thinking yesterday. I work in the public, right? And I'm one-on-one and I'm very busy. I spend my whole day talking with people. So when I get my days over, I want to just decompress and do nothing. And I find that when I go to the grocery stores on my days off and all that kind of thing, I put a hat on or I try to go incognito or I go into Vernon, right? And I don't want to see anybody. And now I go into the grocery store and I'm like, yay, I know you. Yeah. I'm so excited to see people. So I think that it's just so important for us to be able to do this. I know my family is Zooming, and you had said your dad had a birthday last week. Tell us how that all went.
It was good, but it sucked because he was turned 75 and that's a huge milestone, right?
Yeah.
But I'm fortunate to have my brother and my sister and their families live in town. So we all met, and my auntie, and we all met at the top of my dad's road, put signs and banners and balloons on our vehicle, drove down his road honking and carrying on, and the kids were hooting and hollering out the windows. we all pulled up on his front lawn. Like, we looked like a bunch of yahoos the way we parked, but we thought, let's just be stupid.
Yeah.
He comes to the door and he's like just huge
Yeah.
smile, right? So it was awesome. We all stood our 6 feet apart and had cake, and we kind of like handed him the cake and his gifts, and he stood on his front steps. So we're looking forward to everything being over so we can do a proper celebration for him. But he was really appreciative, and because he's missing my kids big time.
Right. And that was where I wanted to go next. Your boys, you have 2 boys at home who are sports enthusiasts, like big time. And that, Scott, what are your boys doing so that they don't make you crazy?
Well, my little one, I say little, but he's 12, almost 13, is devastated because he lives, sleeps, eats, breathes hockey. So of course their spring league has been canceled. He does go down to our park and play basketball by himself, and he knows the rule. If other kids come, you leave. He'll go outside and shoot pucks. But he's really, really taken to video games, which drives me crazy.
Well, what do you do, right?
What am I going to do, right? And the good thing is he's with his friends on the video games and with his cousins at the coast and our really good friends at the coast. So at least he's getting that interaction with his buddies. And my oldest, who's almost 16, is a baseball player. And of course, baseball hasn't even started. He had been practicing with these boys since December, which is phenomenal. So they've built a base that way, and they have their group chats and stuff. But these kids are dying, right? Like, they're like, I just want to play ball. I just want to be outside. So my boys will play catch together, but you get the 16-year-old strength versus the 13-year-old strength, and it's different, and then the fight's on. And
yeah, right. I know. So, this is Avery's last year of club volleyball.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there last night, and she goes, we'd be going to provincials next weekend. And I was like, just don't. Because as like Avery is like Hudson is eats, sleeps, breathes volleyball, right? And that's been taken away from her. And I enjoy watching her, as I know you do, enjoy watching your boys. My heart is broken for her and for myself.
Yeah.
It's and that's where we were talking before we started. Everybody's situation is valid, and okay, so an 18-year-old doesn't get to play ball, a 12-year-old doesn't get to play hockey. Those are huge things for kids.
That's their jam. That's what they do,
right? That's
keeps them out of trouble.
My rule is, as expensive and time consuming as sports are for parents, it's far less than jail time and a lawyer.
Right? Absolutely.
Just
let's be real.
It's so true. So I had said when we started that I was going to set a timer, and I didn't. So I have no idea how long we are in. But I think we're getting close to our time, Tannis. Before we go, I just want to ask you, is there anything that you just wish for people to know or think about or pass on at this time?
You know what? I really think from a medical point of view, don't get wrapped up in all the shit you see on your feeds on Facebook. Personally, I've gone off Facebook. Yeah. I mean, I still have an account, but I can't because everybody's an expert and they know nothing. So like truly what you see that Dr. Henry on Global News, she updates us every day. Listen to her. She knows her shit.
Yeah.
And it's no different than what we're practicing at the hospital. Right. Wash your damn hands. Yeah. Don't touch your face, which is a huge thing for me. I'm a face toucher. I notice now.
Yeah. Me too.
Wash your hands and stay social distancing. It's not going to be forever. It's not going to last forever. It sucks right now. I get it. It sucks for everybody. But the sooner we all listen to what they're really saying to us, it's going to be over, and we'll be able to carry on. I don't think we'll be able to carry on 100% right away, but and take one day at a time. Reach out to your friends. Look at the funny memes on Instagram because that stuff's funny. And honestly, working in the hospital, that stuff gets us through the day sometimes.
I bet.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I've said through the whole thing, as soon as I get onto my phone, my brain goes a little crazy. So
Mhm.
I've advised anybody who I'm talking to, look on the government websites.
Yeah.
Look on the World Health Organization. Don't go to your neighbor and ask them what they're doing.
No.
That's somebody's interpretation. Use your own judgment. And we're all smart people. Just, enough shaming and feeling bad. Just do what's right.
Yeah.
It is going to end. I promise it's going to end.
Exactly.
I think the hardest part is knowing when. And I
Yeah.
do believe, I feel like, unfortunately, my job is going to be one of the ones that comes back last. And
No.
I know, we're pretty soon going to be deemed.
No.
So I'm sure of it. Yes. Right? I know. I'm hoping I win the lottery beforehand, because it's going to be crazy when I get back to work. It's going to be crazy.
Oh.
But anyways, it is what it is. And I really, really, really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day off, especially being a healthcare worker, to come on and share a little bit of time with me. I can't thank you enough, Tannis. I appreciate what you're doing and going out and, being on the front lines. Essentially, you're on the front lines and you're bringing it home to your boys. So I appreciate what you're doing to keep them safe, to keep your patients safe, and yourself. So thank you so much. And I will see you hopefully before July.
Jesus, I hope so. Thank you so much for having me, Laura. I miss you so much. I miss our chats. I miss our just ramblings about nothing, but I always feel so good when I leave. And it has nothing to do, well, I mean, obviously it has something to do with my hair, but just being around you is just fun and I really enjoy it.
Oh, well, I appreciate that very much. So have a good rest of the day, and I will be in touch as soon as I can get back to work.
Sounds good, Laura. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.